Anticoagulants. The use of anticoagulants such as heparin and warfarin is based on the idea of decreasing blood sludge in the vessels supplying the organs of hearing. Their use is limited by potential side effects. Plasma expanders such as low molecular weight dextran also work on the concept of decreasing blood sludge by reducing blood viscosity and platelet aggregation. However, its use is potentially fatal. Surgery. Exploration of the middle ear with repair of an inner ear fistula is recommended in patients with a clear history of sudden hearing loss associated with diving, straining, altitude change, or recent otologic surgery. The role of surgery in patients who do not improve with non-surgical therapy remains controversial. Oral corticosteroid. Oral corticosteroids are widely used, although the supporting evidence is weak. Possible modes of action: suppression of an immune response, change in microvascular circulation, mineralocorticoid effect, a decrease in endolymphatic pressure. Oral corticosteroids, although supporting data are limited. Corticosteroid therapy, usually a 2-week burst and taper of oral prednisone starting at 60 mg per day or equivalent doses of methylprednisolone, is the recurrent standard of care according to a randomized trial suggesting that it may improve or restore hearing, and because of the absence of other non-effective therapies. Intratympanic injection of corticosteroid may be an alternative, particularly for patients who are at high risk of complication from oral therapy, although evidence to support this strategy is even more limited. Intratympanic injection. Pinna. Cartilaginous part, bony part, malleus, incus, TMIGV. Antivirals have recently come into favor in the treatment of ISS-NHL. Animal models of viral labyrinthitis treated with prednisone and acyclovir combined have shown significantly higher rates of hearing recovery compared to either drug alone. This combination therapy has already proven its effectiveness is in Ramsay-Hunt syndrome and Harper-Schuster oticus, and has also been proposed for the treatment of Bell's palsy. Studies are now ongoing to look at the efficacy of acyclovir in the treatment of patients with ISS-NHL. Case Vignette. A healthy 50-year-old woman answered the telephone and realized that her hearing is diminished on the left side. She noticed oral fullness and loud tinnitus in the affected area. Later that day, she has several hours of mild vertigo that clears by the following morning. A healthy 58-year-old woman answered the telephone and realized that her hearing is diminished on the left side. She noticed oral fullness and loud tinnitus in the affected area. Later that day, she has several hours of mild vertigo that clears by the following morning. Over the next few days, repeated self-administered ear cleaning with the use of an over-the-counter kit does not relieve the symptom. How should she be evaluated and treated? Recommendation. Patients such as women described in Vignette who present with unilateral or ear blockage or fullness should promptly be evaluated for possible sudden sensorineural hearing loss. Sudden sensorineural hearing loss is considered by otologists to be a true otologic emergency, given the observation that there is less recovery of hearing when treatment is delayed. Hearing loss can be assessed over the telephone, by example by asking the patient to move the phone from ear to ear for comparison. If hearing is reduced, the patient should be asked to hum and to report on which side the sound is louder. Although the test is imperfect, sound usually localized towards a conductive loss and away from a sensorineural loss. An office evaluation and complete audiogram is indicated if there is any suspicion of sensorineural hearing loss. If an audiogram reveals unilateral sensorineural hearing loss, then an MRI with gadolinium is needed to rule out a retrocochlear abnormality such as demyelinating disease, neoplasm, or stroke. In the absence of this finding, sudden sensorineural hearing loss is the presumed diagnosis. Treatment should not be delayed even if imaging cannot be obtained promptly. Patient reports unilateral ear blockage, new onset, developing over less than 72 hours. Hearing loss, yes, hum test. Hearing loss, no, emergency. And yes, hum test. Sound lateralizes to bad ear, probable conductive hearing loss. Sound lateralized to better ear, probable and SNHL, a true autologic emergency. Audiometric confirmation of SNHL, false alarm. Start prednisolone, blast and taper. MRI. Repeat audiometry in follow-up. Neurologic consultation abnormal. Summary. SSNHL is subjective sensation of hearing impairment in one or both ear developing within 72 hours and a decrease in hearing of more than or equal to 30 decibels on 3 consecutive frequency in comparison to normal ear. On audiometry, most patients with SSNHL cannot be given a cause for their diagnosis. Highest incidence in 50 to 60 years old. Recovery rate without treatment 32 to 70%. Recovery usually begins with 2 weeks of onset. SSNHL is considered to be a true autologic emergency, given the observation that there is less recovery of hearing when treatment is delayed. Corticosteroid therapy, usually a 2 weeks burst and taper of oral prednisone starting at 60 mg per day, or equivalent doses of methylprednisolone is the current standard of care. Intratympanic injection of corticosteroid may be an alternative, particularly for patients who have or are at high risk of complication from oral therapy. Thank you.